Black History Day 3. Today we're talking about the Elaine Massacre of 1919. So on the night of September 30th, 1919, 100 black sharecroppers attended a meeting of the Progressive Farmers and Household Union of America in a church in Phillips County, Arkansas. That's how this shit started, you know what I'm talking about. So the purpose of this meeting was because they wanted to discuss how they could get more money for their crops, because most of them were sharecroppers on white-owned plantations. So they wanted to find out how they could get the whites to give them more money for their crops. So at the time, black labor unions in the area were deeply resented by white landowners because they thought they would weaken their aristocratic power for some reason. That was the common belief they had in the area. So white landowners didn't like that shit. So black people knew that whenever they got together like this for their little meeting at the church, that they had some opposition probably pull up, some rednecks, whatever, some Klan members, people who don't fuck with them, you know what I'm saying? So they do this. So they had armed guards outside the church where they held their meeting, okay? So this is how the whole conflict started. A group of white people from the Missouri Pacific Railroad decided to come. They wanted to come spy on the little meeting, you know what I'm saying, invade it. So like I said, they had armed guards. The armed guards was like, hell no. They pushed them back, you know what I'm saying? So then a shootout broke out. And you know how this turns out, right? So like any other racial conflict at the time or before that, you know what I'm saying? If one black person did something, they're all guilty. So 2 white men were killed in this shootout at the church. That enraged white mobs quickly, and they started harassing and killing every black person in sight. They was not playing, right? Even the army in the area was involved. So in history at the time, when whites were wrong back then, so they try to make it sound pretty. They do it today in the government. They'll lie to you in your face and make it sound pretty, put a bow on it. Pretty please, cherry on top bullshit, but they lying anyway, same thing. So a federal troop regiment came down to the area and said only 2 black people were killed during the massacre. Now, they had found bodies of multiple black people, but there only 2 of them was killed. You feel me? Don't make sense. It's not adding up. So basically what I'm getting at is once all the violence ended, black people were arrested. 67 to be exact were arrested. Now with all the killing that happened, no white people were prosecuted at all. But however, 12 labor union members, that were black of course, faced riot-related charges and were sentenced to death on some bullshit. However, the NAACP and a local lawyer named Scipio Jones, I think that's how you say his name. If I didn't say it right, I'm gonna type it up here so y'all can read it yourself. He represented them 12 black labor union members and reversed all of their sentences, so nobody actually got sentenced to death. But there was hundreds of people massacred in the massacre thing, though. So it still was a massacre, but on the bright side, Scipio Jones was a hero to them 12 black men and saved them from getting the death sentence for some bullshit. This conflict, though, is largely considered as the deadliest racial conflict in Arkansas and the whole state. And we all know Arkansas is, I would say they're second to Mississippi, if not third to Alabama. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to this BS with black people back then, they was on some real racist shit, for real. White supremacy was a real thing in Arkansas, for real.